Caught my girlfriend of 6 years cheating with my so-called friend on her birthday. You have nothing to worry about, she said, but I discovered their secret texts. Now, after confronting her, I can't shake the feeling she's still hiding something. Should I kick her out? So I discovered that my girlfriend of 6 years had been unfaithful to me with someone I believed was a friend, and this revelation came to light on her birthday. I ended up checking her phone that morning while she was getting ready. Her phone was in her game room with an alarm going off, so I went to turn it off. Previously, I noticed that she and my so-called friend were playing Fortnite together frequently without me. He is best friends with her cousin, and we used to play the game together most of the time. I began to pick up on a level of friendliness between them that made me uncomfortable. We had all been planning a vacation together, and I expressed to her that I was uneasy about how often they were texting each other to join the game without including me. Naturally, she became defensive and dismissed my concerns, insisting that I should not be insecure and that I had nothing to worry about. Nevertheless, a couple of weeks passed and her birthday arrived. I felt compelled to check her phone, driven by an uneasy feeling in my gut. It turned out my instincts were correct, as I uncovered that they had been secretly flirting behind my back. For context, I had purchased her phone, she lives with me, and I cover all the bills and take care of her. Unsurprisingly, I was heartbroken and in shock. As I skimmed through the messages, I was unsure how to react. I approached her while still reading her texts, and she appeared pale when she saw me with her phone. When I confronted her, she immediately went into defense mode and began placing blame on me. She said some extremely hurtful things, but given that I know she has some mental health issues stemming from her family, I often struggle to take some of her comments seriously because she tends to apologize for her behavior despite the hurt it causes. She defended him, claiming he gives her more attention and is nicer than I am. I was filled with rage. I could not imagine what might have happened if we had gone on vacation together. She even stated that she would still go if I could not due to work or other commitments. I was overwhelmed with emotions but managed to maintain my composure. I had never wanted to hurt someone as much as I wanted to hurt him in that moment. I felt betrayed by both my partner and a friend simultaneously. We discussed it, and like a fool I still wanted to stay with her, as it hadn't escalated to anything physical between them since she had only known him for about a month at most. Their interactions had consisted solely of text messages and gaming. I set my boundaries and asked her to cut off all contact with him, and though she initially resisted, she eventually blocked his number in front of me. However, I was uncertain whether she had any contact with him on social media, as I forgot to ask. She complied with my request, but I questioned whether she did it out of a desire to repair our relationship or simply to quiet me. We proceeded with the day as if nothing had happened, even though I was devastated. That night, I discovered she had changed all her passwords on her devices and disabled her location tracking. We had always shared our locations, so her actions post-cheating revelation were alarming. She justified this by saying that I was being too controlling and that she needed some space. I began to observe her becoming distant, always texting someone with her phone turned away from me, claiming it was just her friend. The intimacy vanished. She no longer replied to texts as quickly as she used to and became vague about her whereabouts and plans. She came home late after spending time with her cousin's girlfriend, started going out alone with whom she claimed was either her cousin's girlfriend or another friend, and often became frustrated, initiating petty arguments over trivial matters. Ultimately, I felt like a nuisance to her, despite my best efforts to show love and win her attention back. I also found a graphic story she had written in her notes that appeared to be about him. One line mentioned that we were in what I would imagine your room looked like, and you covered my mouth to keep me quiet so your mom didn't hear me moaning. It was an extremely explicit story that concluded with her stating it was merely a dream and she woke up very aroused. This revelation did not sit well with me. She claimed it was just a random dream for a book she wanted to write, as she has expressed for the past year or two that she was working on a graphic novel. About a week and a half ago, she left for Atlanta to attend a Braves baseball game, indicating it would be a girls' night out with two friends. She mostly ignored me throughout the day, and they ended up staying overnight since the game concluded late, and we live approximately 2 hours away from Atlanta. Given her history of dishonesty concerning the cheating, I was uncomfortable with the sleepover idea, but she went ahead anyway. I still had this guy as a friend on PlayStation Network, and I noticed he was the only one not online among the group. The fact that he was absent seemed suspicious since I was aware of his work schedule and knew he was off that Friday. My imagination began racing with the possibility that she was with him in Atlanta, prompting me to turn on her old phone to track her location. I made the unfortunate decision to go to the hotel to see if my instinct was correct. Long story short, he was there. I observed him pull up to the front door to check out, and I believed I spotted my girlfriend in the passenger seat, though I could not confirm it. When I drove up beside him to identify him, he abruptly sped away. I did not chase him, he just took off. I texted my girlfriend to inquire if she was with him without revealing that I was at the hotel, and she denied it. She insisted she did not know he was there, yet it seemed inconceivable that he would be in Atlanta at the same hotel as her on the same night. She told her family that I followed her, but I suspected she did not reveal the full story or the fact that I learned of her infidelity. She continues to deny being with him, and although I believed I saw her in his passenger seat when they pulled up to the front office, I could not spot her when I approached them. Furthermore, she had lied about the hotel's room layout, stating they had a two-bedroom suite with one couch and that she slept on the couch. Upon fact-checking, I discovered they only had rooms with one king bed and one couch or two queen beds without a couch. She also has not provided any proof of her being with her friends, lacking pictures from the game or any evidence. Notably, her cousin's girlfriend always takes photographs of our gatherings. Today marks a month since her birthday, and she just returned from a family trip to Florida with her parents, presenting me with a random promise ring. She claimed she bought it for herself, yet there was no clear explanation for why she made that purchase. My mind has been racing with thoughts about whether she is still in contact with this guy or if he provided her the money to buy it, which is where my distrust stems from. She avoids discussing the situation entirely, and we have yet to have a thorough conversation about our issues. I am still trying to understand why this transpired, whether it is ongoing, and if I am wasting my time trying to remain with her. Her behavior oscillates wildly. She displays a hot and cold attitude, alternately being rude to me, ignoring my texts, even while I can see her Snapchat score rising quickly, then apologizing for her behavior and briefly reverting to kindness. I am approaching a breaking point, wondering if I should just ask her to leave and mourn the loss of our relationship. She is the love of my life, and we had numerous plans and goals, including marriage, starting a family, and achieving success together. I have made significant sacrifices for her and feel utterly empty inside due to the constant emotional turmoil I experience daily. My feelings fluctuate like a roller coaster. One moment I am happy, and the next I am depressed and in tears. The thought of her using me for a place to live and care while being unfaithful and carrying on a secret relationship with him crushes me. She insists she is no longer speaking to him, but honestly, I do not know what to believe anymore. She has not made any effort to regain my trust or to show me that she has ceased contact. I still keep my location visible for her, while hers remains off. Additionally, she has accused me of cheating without any evidence several times, seemingly to provoke a confession from me regarding something I did not do. Only 3 nights ago, she told me that a family member or close friend on Facebook claimed to have seen me with another woman in my truck. My girlfriend did not want to disclose who said this, citing a desire to avoid conflict with me. I asked her to provide proof, but she claimed she deleted the messages, leaving me devastated that she would even suggest I had wronged her, given that my focus has always been solely on her. The promise ring situation has troubled me greatly because it struck me as odd that she would choose to buy one and wear it all day, whereas when I offered her a ring or any ornament in the past, she rarely wore them. Yet this one must remain on her finger where a wedding band would traditionally be placed. Is this a sign that she is taking things more seriously with him and merely using me, or am I just being paranoid and delusional? I genuinely cannot think clearly anymore. She continues to play mind games with me, and her inconsistent behavior is wearing me down because I would take a bullet for her, but I cannot help but wonder if she is now completely emotionally detached from me. She labels me as crazy, toxic, and controlling. I also confronted the guy, threatening to beat him up when I discovered the truth, which led him to inform her cousin, causing her cousin to regard me unfavorably. I am unsure if her family knows the complete story, as she seems to be portraying herself as the victim. She has never taken responsibility for her actions or offered an apology. I want to confront this man for treating me poorly and manipulating my feelings while pursuing my girlfriend behind my back. This experience has eroded my faith in finding genuine friends and authentic love. I feel lost in my life right now, having distanced myself from my family for her sake, as she never liked them due to issues that were ultimately my family's fault. Should I end things and ask her to leave, or should I attempt to uncover what is happening? By the way, the guy claims he wants to file charges against me for threatening him, but I am not sure if he will follow through. His behavior infuriates me. How can he try to pursue his friend's girlfriend? Ironically, he experienced a similar betrayal in his previous relationship, which is particularly outrageous, considering he is now repeating the cycle. Update: I kicked her out, took her phone, and tossed her belongings outside. It is not my responsibility to pack them neatly for her. I also informed her parents to explain why she is moving back in with them, out of respect for them, as they treated me like their own son. Story 2. Caught my girlfriend cheating with my so-called friend on her birthday after I checked her phone. He gives me more attention, she said, while I paid her bills. After months of manipulation, I kicked her out. You're being controlling, she claimed, but I'm done. What now? So I discovered that my girlfriend of 6 years was unfaithful to me with someone I believed was a friend on her birthday. On the morning of her birthday, while she was getting ready, I ended up checking her phone. Her phone was in her game room with an alarm ringing, so I went to turn it off. Previously, I had noticed her and my so-called friend frequently playing Fortnite together without me. He is best friends with her cousin, and we usually played the game together. I began to pick up on their increasingly friendly interactions, which made me uncomfortable. We were all planning a vacation together, and I expressed my unease about how they kept texting each other to join the game without me. She of course became defensive and dismissed my concerns by saying I should not be insecure or that I had nothing to worry about. Anyway, a couple of weeks went by, and her birthday arrived, prompting me to check her phone due to my gut feeling. It turned out my instinct was correct. I discovered they had been secretly flirting behind my back. Keep in mind that I purchased her phone, she lives with me, and I pay all the bills while supporting her. Naturally, I was heartbroken and shocked. While skimming through the messages, I was unsure how to react. I approached her while still reading her texts, and she looked pale when she saw me on her phone. The moment I confronted her, she immediately went on the defensive and began assigning blame to me. She said some very hurtful things, but knowing she inherited some mental issues from her mother, I generally do not take everything she says seriously, as she often apologizes for her behavior even though it did hurt a lot. Regardless, she defended him by stating that he gives her more attention and is nicer, spewing nonsense I did not care about. I was furious. I could not imagine the situation if we had gone on vacation together. She even mentioned she would still go if I could not do to work or something. So many emotions raced through my mind, but I stayed calm. More than ever, I wanted to hurt him for betraying me. I felt deceived by both my partner and a friend. We talked about it, and like a fool, I still wanted to be with her since, at that point, nothing physical had occurred between them as she had known him for maybe a month at most. It had all been just texting and gaming. I established boundaries to cut him off entirely, but she initially resisted and said no. Eventually, she blocked his number in front of me, but I was uncertain if she still had him on any social media, so I forgot to ask. She complied with my request, but I was unsure whether it was out of a desire to repair our relationship or simply to silence me. We continued the day as if nothing had occurred, even though I was heartbroken. That night, I later discovered that she changed all her passwords on all her devices and disabled her location. We had always shared our locations, but for her to do this after I caught her cheating was alarming. Her excuse was that I was being too controlling and she needed some space. I began to notice her growing distant, always on her phone, texting in a way that obscured what she was doing, claiming it was a friend. There was no longer any intimacy, and she did not respond to texts as quickly as before. She became vague about her whereabouts and activities, coming home late when she was out with her cousin's girlfriend. She started going out more frequently alone with whom she claimed was either her cousin's girlfriend or another friend. She became angry and initiated petty arguments over trivial matters, making me feel like a nuisance despite my efforts to show her my love and regain her attention. Moreover, I discovered a sexual dream story she had written in her notes that seemed to be about him. What suggested to me it was him was her mention of being in what I imagined his room looked like, covering her mouth to keep her quiet so his mother would not hear her moaning. It was extremely graphic and ended with her lamenting that it was just a dream and she awakened super wet. That did not sit well with me. She insisted it was merely a random dream for a book she intended to write, which she'd been discussing for the past year or two, stating she was working on a graphic novel. About a week and a half ago, she went to Atlanta for a Braves baseball game, claiming it would be a girls' night out with her two friends. She ignored me for most of the day, and they decided to stay overnight since the game ended late, and we live about 2 hours away from Atlanta. Given my recent experience of being lied to about her infidelity, I did not like the idea of her staying overnight, but she did it anyway. I still had this guy as a friend on PlayStation Network, and I noticed that he was the only one not online with the other guys we typically played with. The fact that he was absent seemed suspicious, given that I knew his work schedule and he had the day off that Friday. My mind raced with thoughts that she was with him in Atlanta. I made the poor decision of turning on her old phone to check her location and foolishly went to the hotel to see if my suspicion was correct. To make a long story short, he was there. I saw him pull up to the front door and park to check out. I thought I saw my girlfriend in the passenger seat, but I was not entirely sure. I drove up alongside him to confirm if it was indeed him, and he sped off, attempting to escape. I did not chase him, but he fled regardless. I texted my girlfriend to ask if she was with him, unaware I was at the hotel, and she replied no. She claimed she had no idea he was there, but it made no sense for him to be in Atlanta checking out of the same hotel as her that same night. She informed her family that I followed her, but I doubt she shared the reason for my actions or that I had discovered her infidelity. She denies being with him, yet I genuinely believed I spotted her in his passenger seat when they arrived at the front office. When I pulled up next to him, I did not see anyone in the passenger seat, but it did appear to be reclined all the way back. I did not see her exiting the hotel despite her claim she was with her two female friends. Additionally, she misrepresented the room layout at the hotel where she stayed, stating they had a two-bedroom with one couch and that she slept on the couch. However, I fact-checked this and found that only rooms with one king bed, one couch, or two queen beds without a couch were available. She has also failed to show me any proof she was with her friends, like pictures from the game, even though her cousin's girlfriend always takes photos of everything when we hang out. Today marks 1 month since her birthday, and she just returned from a family trip with her parents in Florida, presenting me with a random promise ring. She claims she bought it for herself, but there was no context behind her decision to acquire it. I cannot stop wondering if she is still communicating with this guy or if he sent her the money to buy it, as I find it difficult to trust her. She avoids discussing the situation, and we have yet to have a comprehensive conversation about this issue together. She attempts to evade the topic entirely while I continue to grapple with why this occurred, if it is still happening, and whether I am genuinely wasting my time trying to be with her. She frequently exhibits a hot and cold attitude, being very mean to me one moment, ignoring my texts while I can see she is still chatting with others due to her Snap score rising quickly, and then apologizing for her behavior and returning to a loving demeanor. I am reaching a breaking point, wondering whether I should simply ask her to leave my house and mourn the loss of this relationship. She is the love of my life, and we had numerous plans and goals we wanted to achieve together, such as getting married, starting a family, and succeeding in life. I have made many sacrifices for her and feel emotionally drained from the turmoil I experience daily. It feels like a roller coaster ride where I might be happy for a brief moment and then spiral into depression and tears. It would devastate me to discover she is simply using me for shelter and support while being unfaithful and continuing her secret relationship with him. She insists she is no longer in contact with him, but I genuinely do not know what to believe anymore. She has not taken any action to regain my trust by demonstrating she is not talking to him anymore. I still share my location so she can see where I am, yet hers remains off. Moreover, she has accused me of cheating without any evidence multiple times, as if she is trying to coerce me into confessing to something I did not do. She informed me just 3 nights ago that someone on Facebook, a family member or close friend, told her they saw me with another girl in my truck. My girlfriend did not want to reveal who said it, as they preferred not to create any issues with me. I asked her to provide proof, but she claimed she deleted the messages so she could not show me. That hurt a great deal, knowing she would accuse me of such behavior despite my unwavering feelings for her. The promise ring has been on my mind because I find it odd that she got one and wears it constantly, whereas when I previously gave her a ring or any other piece of jewelry, she rarely wore them. Suddenly, this one must remain on her finger where a wedding ring would typically go. Is this a sign she is taking things more seriously with him and merely using me, or am I just being paranoid and delusional? I honestly cannot think clearly anymore. She keeps playing mind games with me, and her fluctuating attitude is weighing heavily on me, as I would take a bullet for this girl. But I do not know if she has become completely emotionally detached from me after everything. She refers to me as crazy, toxic, and controlling. Additionally, I threatened that guy after discovering his actions toward my girlfriend, but he told her cousin, leading to her cousin disliking me. I am unsure whether her family is aware of the entire story, and she continues to play the victim. Never once has she accepted responsibility for her actions or apologized for them. I want to confront this guy for deceiving me and using me as a fool while attempting to woo my girlfriend behind my back. This situation has led me to lose faith in ever having genuine friendships and authentic love. I am truly lost in my life right now, having distanced myself from my family for her sake because she did not get along with them due to past issues, which were my family's fault. Should I end things and ask her to leave, or should I attempt to discern what is happening? By the way, that guy mentioned he wanted to file charges against me for my threat to him, but I am uncertain if he will follow through. His behavior infuriates me. I cannot comprehend how he would try to pursue a friend's girlfriend. Ironically, similar circumstances occurred to him in his previous relationship, and it is astonishing how he is now doing exactly what was done to him. Update: I kicked her out, took her phone, and threw her belongings outside. It is not my responsibility to organize her things neatly for her. I also informed her parents, just in case they were curious why she was returning to live with them, out of respect for them since they treated me like their own son. Story 3. Caught in a tangled web of broken trust, my ex said, "I hate you," as she found my flirty note. After 2 years together, I couldn't help but wonder, was I just a backup plan? As she moved on with another, I questioned if love was ever truly enough. What now? Essentially, I will begin by acknowledging that I am completely in the wrong. I do not support my previous actions, and I could have handled things differently. In fact, I nearly cheated. Regardless, I have been in a relationship with this girl for 2 years, and recently I developed an interest in someone else. I have not conversed with this new person at all. I merely indicated my interest by leaving notes visible to her that implied I was somewhat attracted to her. It was nothing serious, just exploring possibilities, if you will. This entire situation lasted only a couple of days. I had an interest one day, and the following day I made one small gesture with a simple note that said, "Hi, I think you are pretty." I recognize that I probably should not have done that. It was quite foolish. However, on that same day, my girlfriend and I engaged in a conversation that turned very sad, leading us to break up with the hope of possibly having a future together at some point. I accepted that outcome, though I was uncertain about what time might bring. Following that, I continued to express interest in this new girl. However, she noticed it was me and even acknowledged that I should not be pursuing her because I had a girlfriend, and she informed my now ex about it. Consequently, she found out and quickly ended our relationship. I do not blame her. I understand her perspective as I nearly cheated. My ex was arguing with me and I agreed with everything she said because I was not in a position to defend myself. I was in the wrong and who could possibly argue otherwise? She asserted that this was the reason for our breakup, to talk to this new girl, which is not entirely true. I simply agreed that things were difficult and we both did things that hurt each other. She expressed her hatred for me, which is totally understandable. I would not be very pleased either if I caught my partner cheating or doing something similar to what I had done. This brings up another point. My ex and I had numerous issues prior to this, and we had taken a few breaks. During those breaks, she often found herself interested in someone else just a few days after our separation. When I confronted her, I acknowledged a few facts. We were not together, and she was free to engage with whomever she chose. She returned to her recent exes or began speaking to new people, sometimes even more than one at a time, and she sent explicit pictures of herself to various individuals during these breaks. This is acceptable because we were not in a relationship at that time, so it does not matter. However, these events would occur only days or a week or two after we parted ways. Therefore, it is easy to see why I would feel upset or betrayed. This situation has occurred 2 or 3 times already. I confronted her about it, and she acknowledged that what she did was foolish and expressed regret. I took her word for it and hoped we could move past it together because I saw more in her than just a minor mistake. I believed she was hurting and wanted to cope in her own way. That was what I hoped was her motivation for those actions. And ultimately, I always tried to overlook it as much as I could while still addressing it and recognizing the problems. I could still see the potential for good moments in the future that were worth preserving despite any misunderstandings. Now she caught me engaging in behavior that was similarly questionable. However, I did not do anything as serious as sending pictures of myself or getting involved with anyone else in any way. I always aimed to remain independent, hoping to improve myself for the next time, yet she could not forgive me, which is understandable. After all the times I caught her doing something wrong, I always wanted to find a way to work through it, even though it was challenging. I did not want to immediately end our relationship and say something hurtful. Nonetheless, I have more interesting stories about this girl, and I could provide further details if you are interested. But for now, I would appreciate someone's comments and advice on everything I have just shared. Thank you.